Hi, my friends. How's everyone today? Okay, so I don't know why this came to me. Last couple of days, I've been thinking about this. I guess it's a good thing. So this is gonna be my if you're in your 20s, early 20s. Here's the advice of someone who's in their 50s. When it comes down, when it comes down to relationships specifically. Uh, like I said, this is more geared toward the younger audience, but it will apply to anyone, no matter how old you are. The reason why I'm saying it's geared more towards younger people is because this is going to save you a lot of trouble, a lot of heartaches, unnecessary, you know, how do I put this? Unnecessary discomfort, perhaps even pain, if you really like someone. So here's the thing. Most people have this tendency to, when they like someone, and especially, okay, and this is assuming that you are a good hearted person, someone who's full of kindness, someone who's a loving person. So this is how your energy is, right? This is what you put out for other people. There are many reasons why some people are that way naturally. Um, but in a lot of instances, it's not just because you're a good person at heart, base level, so to speak. In a lot of instances, this is because of childhood trauma and things that happened to you when you were very young that you may or may not remember that cause you to be this way towards people because you feel this need to validate yourself. So the way you would do this is you're always going to be putting out more of your energy towards others than you are receiving it. When it comes down to anything, it doesn't matter. But this is specifically about relationships. So if you really like somebody and you're the only person giving, you're pouring all you have out, let's say, okay? You're just giving all that you got because you feel compelled to do that, not only because of perhaps the trauma that you may have that you are not aware of, but also because it's just your nature. You're an empathic person. You're a loving person. You're a kind person. If whoever the other person is not reciprocating the same level of energy towards you, especially if you have a feeling and somehow you know that they like you as well, you need to understand that none of this has anything to do with you at all. So before you start torturing yourself and asking yourself a million questions, why this, why that, why, because you're going to do that, trust me. Okay, I've been there. I know what it's like. That's why I'm talking about this stuff here. the reason why the other person is acting the way they are acting, whether it is by no contact, zero expression of how they feel towards you at all whatsoever, even though you know they feel somehow similar to how you feel about that, all of these things, it is not you, it is them. This is a reflection of how they are feeling about themselves, not only in their minds, but also in their heart. So you need to understand that you are not the problem here. They are. It's all psychological, my friends. And the moment you realize and understand that, this is gonna save you so much time in your life. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. So if this is what's happening, or if this ever happened to you, this is why I'm saying this. Just know it has nothing to do with you, but it has absolutely everything to do with them. It's how they think of themselves. It's how they see themselves. It's how, you may be wondering yourself, you know, wow, am I not worthy of being, having someone feel that way about me as well? Let's say you're feeling, I've already explained the scenario. Okay, I'm not going to be repeating myself here. This is the way they feel about themselves. They're the ones feeling unworthy. They're the ones having doubt. They're the ones in fear of themselves and whatever may come out of it. It's all on them. It has nothing to do with you at all, especially if you have already expressed to them how you feel. So stop torturing yourself and overcomplicating things on your end and overthinking, losing sleep and crap like that. Because yeah, especially when we're young, we do all these things. Because when we are young, we are naive. We have a long ways to go. We have a lot to learn, especially when it comes down to, feelings and liking, truly loving someone. And if you love yourself, if you understand what self-love is, then you know it's not you. You just know. And then not only that, you also know and understand that it's not your problem anymore at that point. Walk away. Detach. Whoever they are, they're not deserving of your time, your energy, your company. Let them deal with their own issues, whatever they may be. Their insecurities, their unworthiness, their lack of self-love, all of these things. See, what happens a lot when it comes down to situations like this is that and this goes for men too, okay? So don't get me wrong. But I'm gonna say it here. This is I think it's I don't know. I might be wrong though. I wouldn't know because I'm not a lady. So if any ladies out there want to post what they think about it, feel free to do that. But the way it works is when there are many women out there who have never really met a guy who's everything they ever wanted, let's say, like subconsciously speaking. So when they run into a person like that, it will scare the living crap out of them. And they will find, in not only in their heads, in their minds, but also in their hearts, they're going to start finding all kinds of excuses not to let themselves get involved with something like that, because that kind of stuff is scary for people who have never experienced something like that in their lives. um, it's kind of hard to explain, but you get what I'm saying. This is all psychological. It works the same ways for men as well. Even though, like I said, I'm not a lady, but I know it works the same way for men. So if you're a guy and you run into some some lady out there that she's all that it's all that you ever wanted. It's all, you know it subconsciously speaking. You're gonna know this. I don't know how to explain it, but trust me, you will know. You will know. The way it works is kind of like this. When you meet someone who's like special to you, and I'm not talking about infatuation and things like this. I'm talking about in the real sense, okay? You will you're always going to be thinking about that person, no matter what you do. This is how it works. And what happens is that is the sign or the confirmation that if you're not ready for something like that yet, if you're not mature yet to deal with a situation like that, in most scenarios, it's going to work the same way for both men and women. People are going to shut themselves off, and they're just going to become the runner. They run away. They either run away, they become avoidant. There's all these terms that people use, avoidant, runaway, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. The terminology doesn't matter. What matters is it's human nature, sadly speaking, that people always react that way. And it's a psychological mechanism because it's a survival instinct that person has that triggers this. It triggers this thing called self-preservation. Self-preservation. That's what it is. But that self-preservation, it's based upon childhood trauma. Because if that person was healthy, psychologically speaking, they wouldn't have an issue immersing themselves in a relationship, in a situation like that. The ones who usually run away from things like that and avoid things like that, like the plague, are the ones that have a lot of trauma that haven't been dealt with. And when these things happen, they trigger all this trauma and this self-preservation, self-survival preservation instinct kicks in. And the way they only know how to react is one way. It's by avoiding it and running away from it. So just know that if this happens to you, it has nothing to do with you. You are not the problem. They are. So know your worth, know your value, know who you are, have some self-respect, love yourself above all, and stop chasing people like that. And I mean it. Do not do it. It's not worth it. You're wasting your time. You're going to be doing yourself a favor by detaching from somebody like that and just walking away, especially if you're young, because trust me, eventually you're going to meet the right person. It's all about your state of being, your mindset, your heart, how you feel about yourself. That is the number one priority. That is the thing that matters the most, because when you're in that state of being, everything that you deserve is gonna come towards you. This is how it works. Everything. Because you you everything that happens around you, outside of you, is a reflection of your inner state of being. So that's how it works. So if you're young, here's my advice. Don't waste your time on stuff like that. You've heard it from someone who's lived a little while. So, yeah, you're wasting your time. You know better than anyone your value, the type of person you are, what you deserve, what you're worth. Don't settle. Don't settle for, mediocrity. That's not you. That should never be you. So eventually you're going to find someone. Have faith. Stay focused. Stay aligned. Walk your own path. And these things will come. You just have to be patient. This is the type of stuff you just don't rush it. Rushing things is always a bad idea. If things are meant to be, they will be. And if you're dealing with someone who's that type of person, avoidant runner, whatever you want to call it, this is all on them. They are the problem. It's not you. They have their own things that they have to deal with and heal first before they can actually be with someone like you. That's what it is. It's super simple. Not complicated at all. And with that said, this is all I wanted to say today. It's been actually a little longer than I expected. I wanted to make this under 15 minutes, but oh well. I love you all. And I will catch you all next time. Take care, my friends.